Good evening. I'll now call to order the Union County Board of Chosen Freeholders regular meeting of Thursday, December 5th, 2019. Clerk of the Board, would you please call the roll?
Freeholder Garrison.
Present.
Freeholder Granadas.
Here.
Freeholder Hudak.
Here.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudir.
Here.
Freeholder Staton.
Here.
Freeholder Williams.
Here.
Vice Chair Marabella.
Present.
Chair Kowalski.
Here.
Chair, we have 8 present.
Thank you. Would you please lead us in the prayer and salute to the flag?
Humbly we ask God, the giver of peace and the love of charity, to give the entire family of nation true agreement with his will and to grant the light of his spirit on all who work for justice and peace.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please read the statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act?
The chair wishes to announce that pursuant to the requirements of NJSA Title 10, Chapter 4, Section 10 of the Open Public Meeting Act, adequate notice of the meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Union has been given by mail in the annual meeting schedule for the year 2019, along with periodic changes necessitated by circumstances to the newspaper circulating within the County of Union, who are designated to receive such notice, and by posting the annual meeting schedule for the year 2019 in the Administration Building, and further by filing the annual meeting schedule for the year 2019 with the Office of the County Clerk.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve communications?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
Moved by Vice Chairman and seconded by Freeholder Hudak. Would you please call the roll, Clerk?
Freeholder Garrison.
Yes, abstaining from number 1 and number 5, October 3rd and 7th, please.
Oh, excuse me,
Oh, I'm
that's
sorry.
the next
I
one.
got
This is
confused.
just communications.
Sorry, thank you. So yes.
Freeholder Granadas.
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudir.
Aye.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Marabella.
Aye.
And Chair Kowalski.
Yes,
8 in the affirmative.
thank you. Now may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meetings of October 3rd, 10th, 24th, November 7th, and November 14th?
So moved.
Moved by Vice Chair. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Hudak. Clerk of the Board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrison.
Now I'm ready. Number 1 and number 5, I abstain. Yes to all the others.
Freeholder Granadas.
Aye to all with the abstention of October 10th.
Freeholder Hudak.
Aye to all.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudir.
Abstaining from number 1, October 3rd, aye to all of the rest.
Freeholder Staton.
Yes to all.
Freeholder Williams.
Aye to all.
Vice Chairman Marabella.
Aye to all.
Chair Kowalski.
Yes.
Chair, we have for the October 3rd, 2019 agenda setting session, we have 6 members voting in the affirmative with 2 abstention. For the October 10th, 2019 regular meeting, we have 7 members voting in the affirmative with 1 extension. For the October 24th agenda setting session and the October 24th, 2019 regular meeting, we have 8 members voting in the affirmative.
And for November 7th and 14th?
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. For the October 7th and the 14th, we have 8 members voting in the affirmative.
Thank you. Tonight we have an ordinance for introduction. And now it's your turn once again, Clerk of the Board. Would you please read the ordinance by title?
Bond ordinance number 810, 2019. Bond ordinance to amend section 4(1), I, 4M, and 12 of the bond ordinance, ordinance number 776, 2016, entitled, Bond Ordinance to Authorize the Making of Various Public Improvement and the Acquisition of New Additional or Replacement Equipment and Machinery, New Additional Furniture, new communication and signal system equipment, new information technology and telecommunication equipment, and new automotive vehicle, including original apparatus and equipment in, by, and for the County of Union, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $58,933,000 and $154, to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate state grants, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation note in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, adopted on August 18, 2016, as previously amended by bond ordinance number 805, 2019, adopted on February 14, 2019.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Mirabella, would you please move ordinance number 810-2019 for first reading?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'll move ordinance number 810-219 for first reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise the same in accordance with the law. The public hearing and final reading will be scheduled to be held on December 19th, 2019.
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Hudak. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrison?
Yes.
Freeholder Granados?
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak?
Aye.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudir?
Aye.
Freeholder Staton?
Yes.
Freeholder Williams?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Mirabella?
Aye.
Chair Kowalski?
Yes.
You have 8 in the affirmative.
Thank you. We have another ordinance for introduction. Clerk of the board, would you please read it by title?
Ordinance number 811, 2019, an ordinance to amend the laws of Union County Administrative Code and policies and general legislation by amending Part 1, the Union County Administrative Code, Chapter 1, Union County Government Structure, Article 3, Board of Chosen Freeholders, Article 24 of Economic Development, Chapter 42, County Manager Candidate Selection Guidelines, Chapter 49, Fees, Article 2, Paratransit Service, Chapter 107, Parks and Recreation, Article 4, Fees for Recreation Facility, Section 107-6, Park Fees for the year 2020, and Chapter 140, Contracted Off-Duty Employment of Law Enforcement Officers.
Thank you. Freeholder Williams, would you please move ordinance number 811-2019?
Yes, Chair. I would like to move ordinance 811, 2019 for first reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise same in accordance with the law, with the public hearing and final reading scheduled for December 19th, 2019.
Second.
Seconded by Freeholder Hudak. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrison?
Yes.
Freeholder Granados?
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak?
Aye.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudir?
Aye.
Freeholder Staton?
Aye.
Freeholder Williams?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Mirabella?
Aye.
Chair Kowalski?
Yes.
Chair, we have 8 in the affirmative.
Thank you. And here's another ordinance for introduction. Clerk of the board, would you please read the ordinance by title?
Ordinance number 812, 2019, an ordinance fixing the salaries of members of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, the county manager, and department heads.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Mirabella, would you please move ordinance number 812-2019?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I will move ordinance number 812, 2019 for first reading and authorize the clerk of the board to advertise the same in accordance with the law. The public hearing and final reading will be scheduled to be held on December 19th, 2019.
Thank you. May we have a second?
Second.
Freeholder Williams, seconded. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrison?
Yes.
Freeholder Granados?
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak?
Aye.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudir?
Aye.
Freeholder Staton?
Yes.
Freeholder Williams?
Aye.
Vice Chairman Mirabella?
Aye.
Chair Kowalski?
Yes.
Chair, we have 8 in the affirmative.
Thank you. The meeting's now open to the public for the purpose of commenting on resolutions being offered for adoption only. If you wish to speak, kindly state your name and town of residence and observe the 5-minute time limit.
Good evening, Chair Kowalski, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Garwood. This is a good one. This could be a record, 80 resolutions, it looks like. Of course, I won't have time to speak on all of them. But anyway, page 3, 952 at the top. HFT Management getting a contract for advertising on paratransit vehicles. It's an extension. But I'm just wondering, it's a revenue generating contract. If somebody could just answer how much revenue was generated last year and exactly what is advertised on these paratransit vehicles. Page 4, number 961. That's an annual uniform and clothing allowance for the fire and mutual aid coordinator and deputy coordinators. And Freeholder Mirabella said, well, you know, they support the firefighters and safety personnel. But the question is $15,000 for clothing. I'd like somebody to explain. It's about $7,500 for each. I'd like to hear exactly what that $7,500 is for each of them. Page 6. Number 976. It looks like there's an after-the-fact resolution for $116,000 to Royal Printing for, I guess, balloting or paperwork or something. I would like a little more in-depth explanation why it's after the fact that this person's getting $116,000. Page 8, number 994 at the bottom, CFG Health. Comprehensive health care for incarcerated adults. Actually, I agree on this one with Freeholder Hudak, which is kind of rare. But he's right. I mean, we're having a population decrease, yet the dollar amount is either equal or more for $4,900,000. I'm just wondering, how is this being billed? How do they bill that $4.9 million? And who's the one that actually verifies all that? I'd like to really hear about that one. That's some big money. Page 9, number 998, CME Associates, Professional Environmental Compliance. Just pointed out they've donated $106,000 to the Freeholders and their cronies campaign for 4 years, and $32,000 actually went to the Freeholders of that amount. Number 1,000, ooh, a nice round number. What is that? That is $7,051,000 for what the heck? Some kind of engineering, road resurfacing. Okay. Anyway, but I'm just wondering, is that an increase from last year? I'd just like to know that dollar amount. The next one right below it, 1,001. Jury parking, $480,000 to the city of Elizabeth. Normally I saw $1 per spot, but what does it break down to? Normally you have that, but you didn't have it on that one. The 1008 on page 10, there's a settlement. Valerie D'Onofrio versus UC, $70,000. I guess just an overview of what that was about. 1009 right below it, Dakotas is getting $20,000 more for some lawsuit against the county, I guess. He donated about $125,000 in 4 years to the Freeholders and the cronies. Right below that, Palumbo Renaud, he's getting another $10,000 for $55,000 on a lawsuit. He donated $39,000 to the Freeholders and the cronies in 4 years. Just pointing that out. Pay to play really needs to be put into place somehow. 1013, Arthur Kovitz is being sued, and 1014, Joseph Pollock is being sued. It's interesting if maybe Attorney Barry can give us an overview of that one. 1020 down there on page 11, Garwood Lions Club, and I'm from Garwood, and I'd just like to agree that, you know, they've been helping out for the blind, and they have the White Cane fundraisers, and they are celebrating it so this tomorrow, I believe it is. So thank you very much to the Lions. Thank you.
Before I call up some of the directors, I will just note that all of our county vendors and subcontractors observe the law. No one is giving money directly to any of the freeholders. People are entitled to give to campaigns if they so desire, and again, it's done according to the law. And I will now ask, I guess, Director Anderson, if you would like to explain a little bit about number 952.
The advertising for the paratransit vehicles is a contract that went through a bid process. So in 2018, it was about $6,700 in revenue, and for 2019 to date is about $4,200. What we do, we go out to companies to possibly would advertise. So like insurance brokers, et cetera, they're vetted and then they're able to provide wrapping, the advertising, full wraps or side of the vans, but that's how we do it. So it's, looking at other alternatives to get some revenue in for this program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Moran, if you would talk a little bit about clothing allowance.
Certainly, through you, Chair. The resolution is actually for the Fire Mutual Aid Coordinator and Deputy Coordinators, there's plural. We have about 15 people that act in that capacity, so it's about $1,000 per person, not the $7,500 that the speakers suggested.
And these aren't just, lightweight, normal clothing. The fire protective clothing is thick, of very special materials, and the cost is more than it would be for other uniforms.
Exactly, Chairwoman. And it also compensates the coordinators who are often responding on their off time when they're at home with their personal clothing on, that once it's subjected to a fire scene, it's very difficult to get that smell out. So,
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
County Council, or County Manager, you wanted to answer on 976?
Sure, Madam Chair, with the increased vote by mail applications, the anticipated costs were higher. We have more volume.
Okay.
Simple.
The question about CFG Health, I don't remember.
Charles.
Yeah, Director Charles.
Through you, Chair, the contract is not to exceed 4.9. So it's driven by the population. Obviously, if we have a lesser, that's not going to be near that number. To speak to the point about reconciliation, I mentioned before we have a staff person who's contract compliance, who's there every day making sure the doctor hours, the mental health providers, that everything per contract is happening. Also, once the invoice is submitted to our department, the business manager and our accounts payable review that, audit that, and make sure that is in line with the EMRs at the facility. So it's a two-step verification process.
Thank you. Director Graziano, if you would explain about number 1,000.
Through you, Madam Chair, I believe the question was this different than last year? Yes, this is a little bit higher than last year. Last year was about $6.9 million, and the state tells us what they're going to give us every year. It's based on road miles and some other things that they base it on. It's not the same. It's based on population and road miles, so every year we get a letter from the states, telling us how much that we're getting on that. So 6.9 to 7 point, whatever this is, 7.051. So it is a little bit higher.
And for the parking.
For the parking, it's
do we get reimbursed from the state for that?
no. This is we have the agreement with the city on this. This is on us. We have to supply the parking for that. This is it's $8 per space for 125 spaces. So it's $20,000 a month that we pay for these spaces. This is a 2-year contract. They haven't raised their prices in, I'm going to say, 5 or 6 years, maybe. They haven't raised their prices. Usually I'm in front of this board every year, but for this year, she's Carla Mazza, who's the director of parking over there. She's doing it for a 2-year for this time, so it's same price we've been paying.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we'll move to freeholder comments. Oh, sorry. Anyone else have a comment from the public? Okay.
Okay, 1008, I know, from 1008 to 1014.
Can you give your name, please?
Oh, Maria Echeverria, Elizabeth, New Jersey. Hi.
I knew your name,
It's been
but
a
I
while.
want you to state it
I know,
publicly.
gotta say it for the record. Okay, and, I was just on it somewhere. Let me see. I know 10/20/23 was calling me, because I want to know how does that person get picked, because I'm sure that there's lots of people that, you know, a lot of women in this, you know, in our government entities around here that might have fit that criteria too, so how does she fit that criteria? And, let's see, 995, what that was about. Because from my understanding, I thought that they were for people with special needs, but maybe it's something else, I don't know, but people are still, yeah. And, let's see, where was it? I know my time will be up. Okay, that's it, because I can't, oh, maybe I found it. Yep, 955. Okay, how many people is that for? Okay, thank you, bye.
Thank you. I'll just let you know that for number 1023, that is an award that is given by the League of Municipalities. The freeholders are congratulating Councilwoman Perkins Auguste, but we did not make that award. That was given by someone else. 950. Director Anderson, can you come back and talk about 955, please?
So this is, through you, Madam Chair, this is an amendment to the original resolution. This is the burial for indigenous people. So it's about increase of 11. To date, we have buried as a county 47 individuals. So this is just to increase because this vendor went to their max and we had to increase with the pay-to-play.
And we normally assume the cost for burials of the indigent because they have to be buried and no one else is paying.
That is true.
Okay.
And it's more so in cremation format.
Right. Okay. Thank you. County Council, did you want to say anything about?
Sure.
the
On the
legal
previous
cases?
question? Sure. In the matter of Cherry versus County of Union, two individuals that are being provided representation were named individually. It's an employment matter dealing with allegations of discrimination. The D'Onofrio case that was recommended for settlement, that is also an employment case dealing with failure to accommodate under ADA, also allegations relative to a hostile work environment and harassment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? If not, I will close this portion of the meeting and move on to ask for adoption of resolutions 2019-952 through 2019-1034.
So moved. Second.
Moved by the Vice Chair, seconded by Freeholder Granados. Clerk, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrison,
Yes.
Freeholder Granados,
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak,
Aye.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudir,
Aye.
Freeholder Staton,
Yes.
Freeholder Williams,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Mirabella,
Aye.
Chair Kowalski.
Yes.
We have 8 in the affirmative.
Thank you. And now I'll open the meeting to the public for the purpose of commenting on any governmental issue that a member of the public feels may be of concern to our residents. And kindly state your name and town of residence and observe the 5-minute time limit.
Good evening. I'm the Cat Lady of New Jersey, also Mom Meow. I'm also representing the Union County now lately due to the fact that The new
Excuse me,
song
Miss-
is
Miss
What's New-
Gala, would you
Oh,
just
Charlotte
please-
Gala, yeah,
Yes.
Charlotte Gala, okay.
Thank you.
All right, the new song that's singing in Union County, as you can see on your cover, is What's New Pussycat? And it's, the residents of Union County are starting to get to be a teamwork and dream work. For too long, the community cats have been neglected, and it's time for positive change. I like to let everybody see that's a beautiful cover because it affects everybody in this room. They have been existing in every neighborhood in New Jersey, and nobody paid attention. In fact, if you research 2004, Governor McGreevey had a task force, because the sister's a rescuer, to try to make changes for community cats. What year is it now? 2019. What has changed? Nothing. But you are visionaries. You, each one of you freeholders, see there is a solution, and you're going to work towards it. And I'm very proud of it, because Union County has the reputation that you're not interested in community cats. And unfortunately, you are. And the reason is because it affects the quality of life for the residents and also the cats. So I'm asking you tonight that we start to work on some kind of grants to get a professional trapper. Why do I say that? Because a professional trapper will keep records, accurate records, because here, there, nobody knows what's going on. And unless you keep a clear, concise records, it'll save you money, and it'll also help to solve the solution in every township, every city in Union County. You're my team, my dream team, my top cats that are going to make a change in our county. So, as they say, volunteer, foster, adopt, do something. You're finally doing something. You are making steps, bold steps, into the future to make changes for our community cats. And let me tell you something. Every cat in this town, in Union County, is saying, wow, you are perfect people, and you really are terrific people. Thank you very much for your time, and please, don't put this under the table. It's something that not only me, the residents, the rescuers, the feeders, you're making everybody understand you really care, and we appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's like a coach right there.
Oh, yes, all right.
Meow! There you go. Nice. That's the way it ends.
All right. Can't add to that.
Should I say it's a tough act to follow? Or?
It is.
Good evening. I'm Bill Neerstead, a resident of Garwood. And the beginning of this is going to sound negative, but I assure you this is not a negative statement. This is a very positive statement. I want to thank the Chairwoman, Freeholder Kowalski, and Parks Director Ron Zuber for doing nothing. What I mean by that is specifically as it relates to Unami Park. This past year, I sent photographs to the Freeholder Chair with the spring beauties coming up in the wooded section of Unami Park. And they came up and stayed out for a long time because the rains came. And the Union County Parks Department was unable to get in there and cut them because of the rains and how wet it was. And then the rains continued, and they weren't able to get into the other areas of the wooded section of Unami Park, the forested area. And because of that, the grasses grew, and the county was able to do nothing. They were able to let natural succession continue within the wooded area. And I had two very memorable moments this spring and this summer, where at one point I actually watched for about 5 minutes a fox just run through the grass. Probably had never seen 2-foot-high grass before, and it was running through, and it was just, living in Union County, you don't get to see that too often, and it was just, for me, great to watch it. Another time I got to watch a herd of 12 deer go through the park. Now, some people may not like that, but it's important that we have our parks, because the deer really have no place to go except our parks. And that's why I want to mention that I'm very glad the county purchased the property in Cranford, No Mohegan Park, to expand that park. It needs to be increased. All of our parklands need to be increased. For those who do, or for those who don't know, the Union County Park System was created or designed by the Olmsted brothers, and they based the Union County Park System on waterways: Passaic, Elizabeth, Railway Rivers, Green Brook. And at one point, and it's a beautiful plan when you look at it on paper, the parks were all connected. They were connected by greenways, would allow the animals to go through those corridors, to keep their species going, to increase their genetic pool. It would also allow us, whether we're biking, whether we're walking, can you picture being able to walk from Plainfield to Elizabeth in a park system? It's very unfortunate that we were unable to do that, but I encourage the freeholders to continue looking for properties adjacent to parks and continue buying those so we can at least extend those areas a little bit. This past year, the Garwood Green Team adopted Unami Park. Chairwoman Kowalski was there again to help us do our first project, planting native species plants at the entranceway into the park from Garwood, which never existed before, and that was with the assistance of staff member Betty Ann Kelly. I'd like to thank her for doing that. We look forward to doing other activities or other projects within the park, specifically perhaps a butterfly garden in this forested, wooded area. So, I urge the freeholders to continue to look for open space by the parks and continue to purchase it. Next year, I want you to do nothing again. And in future years, I want the Parks Department to do nothing again in the wooded area of Unami Park and perhaps other areas. Let natural succession occur. Let the grasses grow. Let the wooded areas provide the food and the shelter and cover that the animals that somehow manage to survive in Union County can continue to survive. This past summer, we all know we had many storms, many trees down in the parks, and at one point it was very interesting. If you can picture a tree that was vertical, totally horizontal, the growth on that tree on the one side going straight up was just tremendous. And I wanted to see, because some of the roots were still in the ground, and I wanted to actually see, and I see the yellow light came on. I wanted to actually see if we could let that go. The parks could actually let that stay. It'd be a terrific science observation for classrooms, for people to come and see that, for kids to begin to understand nature. So, in closing, I ask that the Union County Parks Commission do nothing again in the wooded section of Unami Park in the future. And if you do nothing again, I promise you it will be the best nothing that you never did. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Neerstead, and thanks for your work in the parks.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Les Pascal, Marlton, New Jersey. I'm the CEO of CFG Health Systems. I came here tonight to first thank you for giving us the opportunity to continue the work that we collectively are doing in the facility for the health care of citizens and inmates in Union County. But I also be remiss without commenting on what it really takes to be successful as a healthcare provider, and that is that you need decent security leadership, exemplary security leadership. And I have to give a shout out to Director Charles. He deserves a shout out on a number of things, because without his partnership with meeting our goals in healthcare in Union County, we wouldn't be successful. We would be failing miserably. Also, he was modest, and Madam Chair, you recognized them for the accreditation. There are only 4 facilities in New Jersey accredited that meet the standards that Director Charles met with this. And just so you know, he likes to remind a few of his buddies in the other jails that Union County scored higher on their exit interview than any of the other counties did. So I'm giving a shout out to Director Charles for his leadership and partnership, and also thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to continue working with you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments?
My name is Maria Echevarria. Is this on? And I live in Elizabeth. I'm really hoping to see a lot of yous on the 12th over in Trenton, okay? Because there are 2 bills up that are gonna be voted on, and this affects a lot of families. It's S2173 and A3818. And this is regarding religious exemptions, okay? And I know in New York, within 8 hours, they took away religious exemptions regarding schools. So 26,000 kids got kicked out of schools. There is a student that the father had to get a restraining order in order for his child to go back to school. Okay, he ended up getting a medical exemption, and they wouldn't accept it. Okay, he had a neurologist give him a medical exemption because after they took away the religious exemptions, because that's just the easier way to go, they ended up going with a medical exemption. And they overrode a doctor, a neurologist that this child saw for 9 years, okay? That the vaccines can trigger the seizures. There are people from New York that came over here. One of the co-authors of HPV on Trial is one of the people that came from New York here, one of the co-authors, okay? I really urge a lot of people to go on the 12th to the state, okay, because this is going to affect a lot of kids, okay? I don't know what anybody is doing, but this is not right, okay? We should have medical freedom. I don't know if anybody knows about the Nuremberg Code. You shouldn't have to be coerced or whatever to go to school. You shouldn't have to be vaccinated to go to school, okay? I haven't vaccinated mine in like 10 years. My kids aren't giving nobody diseases, okay? The measles has killed 9 people. In that same amount of time, over 400 people have died from the MMR vaccine, okay, to this day. And back in May, when I went to a rally in Trenton, it was at 342, and now it's over 4,000. Last month, I went to go see the documentary Vax 2. Over 7,000 people signed that bus, okay? It had to do with SIDS. It had to do with the HPV vaccine, which they're now trying to mandate, and the flu shot, which that's a waste too. But I wish everybody would really read those package inserts, do the research, because those things are poison. Polysorbate 80 is in these vaccines, okay? Aluminum, formaldehyde, monkey kidney cells, aborted fetus tissues. I mean, there's so many things that God doesn't want that. That's not what God did, okay? We should have our religious exemptions, and I really believe that if anybody that cares about kids should go over there and fight for kids, because I'll be there for mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Not sure about the numbers that you presented. I'd like to see more info about that. If you can give us a little more backup. Thank you. Yeah. And anyone else?
Good evening, Chair Kowalski, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Patterson, Barwood. We're going into the end of the year, and of course, the start of the year is the county budget cycle, and I just want to touch upon that, especially in reference to Ordinance 812-2019, which is coming up for adoption, and that's fixing the salaries of members of the Board of Chosen Freeholders and the county manager and the department heads. And of course, you guys are going to vote yes on that, right? The salaries of the freeholders. So I mean, the problem I have, and yes, you know, if you do a good job, then you deserve a little kudos and maybe a raise.
Wait, what did you say? What did you just say?
I said if, by the way. The word is if. That's the working word.
I wanted to verify that. Thank you.
I'll give $100 to Hudak because I agreed with him already.
It's okay.
But anyway, I presented a chart back in the budget cycle of 2019 in March, April area. And, we're looking at, and I've been talking about this for the last couple of years, we're looking at like astronomical accumulation of excess money. And now that you close the juvenile center, you're looking at, according to Bibby Taylor, the finance director, another $6 million a year savings. So on top of the Runnels, which is running probably about a $13 million savings, and the $6 million from the you're talking about maybe $15 to $20 million additional monies that is coming into the budget that really you are not like spending. I am looking at things, and yes, I've talked about this last cycle that a lot of your departments have increased 20% since 2014, which is an astronomical amount. But this running fund balance that just increases every year, and last year it was up close to 90 some odd million dollars. That's telling me that you're not spending properly. Not that I want you to spend more, but you're just not budgeting properly. And now we're going into this cycle, and I think you better step back and take a look at it. And again, I see a perfect case that you can actually have a zero tax increase. Zero taxing, how easy it is. I've been saying this 3 years now, and the surplus increases, the running fund balance increases. We're looking at a good possibility that you can't hide this money anymore. I mean, it's really busting out of its seams, and that you should be able to, Mr. County Manager, since you're working on your manager budget, actually come up with a zero tax increase. So I'm just asking you, out of the goodness of your hearts, because I know you just want to increase your salaries and the department heads, and especially the department head salaries, where I was seeing 4, 5, 6, 7% increases, which is amazing in this day and age. But it's to be found out what it is. I'll have to open it in. But anyway, bottom line, you're going into the budget cycle, zero tax increase for us, please. Zero tax increase. There's no way around it. You have to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to comment? Seeing no one, I'll formally close this portion of the meeting and ask for Freeholder comments. Freeholder Granados?
Thank you, Chair. Just want to make mention of today, there was a nonprofit leadership graduation ceremony that was started roughly 3 years ago. So I acknowledge Director Debbie Ann Anderson along with Assistant Director Karen Dinsmore for their strong work in making sure that 24 individuals from different nonprofits across the County of Union not only participated in an 11-month program, but got essential resources and training to better service our residents across the County of Union. And we continue to look at ways to partner up with our nonprofits, agencies, in making sure that we're building together to provide the utmost greatest service when it comes to our residents. And also, during the holiday season, our county is servicing 2 different projects that are benefiting individuals who are in need, especially children in need. During the holiday season, our Sheriff's Department's having the Tree of Hope, which helps out newborns to 17-year-old children who are in the community and making sure they have essential toys and a smile on their faces during the holiday season. So I definitely want to give a special shout out to Sheriff Corvelli along with Sergeant Haplin, who's in charge of the Tree of Hope through the Sheriff's Department. So if you'd like to donate to their organization, it'd be 908-527-4032, along with our Union County Office of Community Engagement and Diversity at 908-527-4880, which works with many organizations across the County of Union and provides over hundreds of toys to residents and children throughout the whole entire county, in making sure we continue to come together not only as residents but also our county employees who are at the forefront of making sure they're donating and helping out our residents not only through work time but also after work. So I just want to thank everybody for their efforts, and also thank Deputy County Manager Amy Wagner, who's truly at the forefront of making sure this toy drive continues to build and continue to grow. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Williams?
Thank you, Chair. I would just like to remind everyone that Union County residents who are seeking information about services for adults age 60 and older can speak to our staff from the county's Division on Aging at your local libraries and senior centers through our Aging Services Kiosk program. This program sends staff out to the different communities every month where they can provide one-on-one information about home-delivered meals, respite care, home care, adult daycare, and other support services. They can also help residents fill out applications and forms. Anyone can visit any of the Aging Services kiosk locations, and the program will be visiting Rahway, Elizabeth, Clark, Union, and Garwood in the coming days. And it will be coming to my hometown of Plainfield on Friday, December 20th at the Plainfield Public Library, 800 Park Avenue from 10 a.m. to noon. For the complete schedule, please call the Division on Aging's toll-free number at 888-280-8226. That's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Hudak?
Thank you, Chair. Last night, Berkeley Heights became the 14th agency in the county to pass a resolution to agree to participate in the county's dispatching center, and the county will be answering 911 calls from the township and dispatching necessary emergency services, police, fire, and EMS. And the council did it unanimously because it's truly is a good service that the county has continued to provide over the years, and it's a good thing to see multiple agencies taking advantage, because when a community is looking at their dispatching equipment and the extensive infrastructure and training that goes into it, that they're able to save that money by coming into the county dispatch center is a very good thing. And just a brief comment on the budget. And we're very proud of the direction of the Union County budget. I think the surpluses that the county has been able to achieve over the past few years is a sign of financial strength. Our bond rating is a sign of financial strength. And it also provides us with the bandwidth to undertake projects like the dispatch center. It allows us to undertake projects like the fire academy. It allows us to take projects like countywide EMS, all which provide savings for the municipality, which do not necessarily reflect in the county budget, because that's a centralized cost that the county absorbs, but it's a reflective savings at the municipal level, which it's harder to quantify. But as we see more communities drawn to these shared service programs, it is certainly real. And so, when we look at the budget next year, and we will always look very closely at our budget, and I want to commend the county manager, Director Taylor, all the department heads who have done a very good job in sharpening the pencils every year and keeping the tax levy going down in the proper direction. But we also have to have priorities, and we also have to have a direction that the county needs to go in, whether that's funding education through our college or vocational school system, providing good recreation, or the fact that the county does administer the social service safety net in Union County. And 700,000 New Jersey residents just learned that they were going to have their SNAP benefits taken away, courtesy of the federal government, right before Christmas. Great timing. And in Union County, as the federal government has pulled back support for our most vulnerable citizens, Union County has stepped in. So we'll certainly try to keep that levy going in the right direction, and try to keep those surpluses going in the right direction, and our bond rating strong. But we have to make sure that when our residents need help and need assistance, and when our towns need help and need assistance, so they don't have to necessarily spend the big dollar to make sure the residents are safe, the county has the ability to absorb some of those costs. That's good planning, it's good budgeting, and it's good government. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Mirabella?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to pass some information along to the public in conjunction with the prosecutor's office. On Tuesday, December 10th at 6 o'clock, there'll be a public meeting in the Cranford VFW Post 335, located at 479 South Avenue East. The meeting will be part of the Attorney General's 21-21 statewide project on community policing. The goal of community policing of this project is to strengthen relationships between law enforcement officers and the communities they serve. The Cranford meeting will specifically focus on military and veterans affairs. There'll be a panel discussion and a question and answer session. Jana Williams from the Union County Office on Veterans Affairs will be attending along with other community stakeholders. For more information about the meeting, visit nj.gov/OAG/2121. If you have specific information, please call Ms. Williams at the Union County Board's UC Hero program at 908-527-4918. I just have one update for Mrs. Gallo. I do know, and I will update you, that Director Graziano has been working on some wording for a resolution. But as you probably know, this really is a local issue, a community issue, a municipal issue. What this Freeholder Board can do is put a resolution together supporting the communities and the municipalities for doing their work to take care of this cat issue. It is an issue. It's something that happens in every corner of this community and this county, but we really need to reach out to the municipalities to do their part, and they do their part. Now, could we remind them to do more? Yes, we can. But I will tell you, the director's on top of this. He's working on it. He's been in contact with me personally several times, and I think it's something we have to do, and we have to do something before there's a catastrophe. You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. That concludes my comments, as it should.
Vice Chairman. Freeholder Garrettson?
Yes, thank you. I have several items I want to share tonight. The first being that we had two Union County towns. We had two Union County towns win their sectional champs. That was Union, New Jersey, who played on November 29th. They unfortunately lost to Ridgewood's 41-37. But this Sunday, we actually have the second group that came up a winner 3 times in a row, and that was Hillside. They'll be playing Cedar Creek at MetLife, or not MetLife, I'm sorry, the stadium at Rutgers. So if you're available, please check that out. They will also have a parade the Sunday or the Saturday following, so hopefully we can mark everyone's calendars. So I just want us to celebrate our kids, and I just think it's wonderful that we had 2 of our towns to be able to represent this year. The next item I'd like to share is one on environmental stewards. Rutgers University is a volunteer program. It is supported by our Freeholder Board. The program is available to all county residents who have a passion and desire to improve the environment, and the training begins in the end of January. So if that is something of interest, it's the Rutgers Environmental Stewards. Next, I'll try to go quickly. The next item I wanted to share was a wonderful event last night. Several freeholders were able to attend. I believe Sergio Benatas, Freeholder Hudak, Vice Chair, and myself, we were at an event in support of the court-appointed special advocates last night. Several employees from the county was there, and it's just wonderful during this time of year. So big shout out. If I missed anyone, sorry about that. And then the biggest issue I wanted to share tonight is about the New York City Special One-Time Assistance Program that's been getting a lot of attention, not in the state, not just in our county, but we're the first county to actually bring it to the forefront as a unit. So I'm just very pleased that this is not just about the city of New York relocating its residents to Union County towns, but it's that they're not giving them the proper wraparound services. So as a county, we're dedicated, we're committed, and I want to go on record to say that I fully endorse and support that we make sure that we address any improper placements. So I'm just very, very excited that as a county, we came together to do that. And those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Palmieri Muedad?
I'm going to bank my time, but I do want to just say that I agree with you, Mr. Nearstead, about our county parks being essential to living here. And I'm so proud to be part of the system. And I do wonder if we can leave some of the areas wild. Maybe it would keep those animals that are supposed to be there rather than on people's lawns and in school environments. So I love our parks, and I hope that they provide as much joy to all of our residents that they do to me. So that's it.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Staton?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. With the cold weather upon us, I would like to remind everyone of some of the seasonal indoor activities coming up in Union County parks. This weekend, the Model Railroads Club annual Holiday Sound and Light Show continues at the A. Paul Mallory Model Railroad Center. The Railroad Center is located in Lenape Park in Union. You can find it at the end of a little road behind the Home Depot on Route 22 East. Just follow the signs. Also, this Sunday at the Warnaco Park Sports Center, located in Warnaco Park, families can enjoy indoor ice skating with children's activities and a chance to skate with Santa, too. And of course, the Trailside Nature and Science Center is open every afternoon, 7 days a week, at the Watchon Reservation in Mountainside. For more information on all these activities, please visit Union County online or call the Parks Department at 908-527-4900. I'd like to remind everyone to stay safe during this holiday season. And I'd like to thank Ms. Charlotte for coming out again and her passion with the cats. We hear you, Ms. Charlotte, and the board is working on it. And that concludes my comments. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Freeholder. County Manager?
No comments, Madam Chair.
County Council?
No comments, Madam Chair.
Okay, I have a few things. As Freeholder Garrettson and others have mentioned about the placing of homeless families from New York into Union County. The problem is that it wasn't done with notification to anyone here, and the support services were not provided. It really is a heartless policy that shows a disregard for the needs of families in crisis. And we have more than 50 homeless families placed in 7 Union County municipalities, including Hillside, where Freeholder Garrettson lives, as well as Elizabeth, Linden, Rahway, Roselle, Union, and Plainfield. A county council has filed a Freedom of Information request with New York City to determine the full scope and impact of this policy on the families and on the Union County community, because, as I said, we have not been given any information about it. We heard about it from reading it in the newspaper. So, if necessary, we may take legal action to end this practice and seek reimbursement for any costs incurred. But the main thing about this is that people have been sent here without a plan for services, without plans for their children, without the county coordinating with the landlords on the housing. There are, as Director Anderson can tell you, there are many, many aspects to giving support to families that become homeless, and they have not been provided here. So we will keep you posted on that, and I hope we can come to a successful conclusion and really provide some help for these families. Let me turn to another topic. We have a new person serving as Union County's Director of Social Services. She's succeeding Charles Gillen, who retired in September after 30 years of service, and we welcome Ms. Camille Williams. Her leadership, depth of knowledge, and wealth of experience come at a critical time for the county, and we're looking forward to working with her in the coming years. And thanks to Mr. Nearstead for mentioning Park Drive in Cranford. As you know, we worked a long time to come to an agreement with the owner of this property and transfer it over to the county. So we're looking forward to adding it to Nomahegan Park. It currently has an abandoned house, and that will have to be removed, and will join the land to the park and improve a popular walking trail, extend the natural habitat. So the land was purchased through the open Space Recreation and Historic Preservation Trust Fund. So thanks to its administrator, Victoria Durbin Drake, and of course to Freeholder Granados, who's chairman of the trust fund, for pursuing this opportunity to a successful conclusion. And also, let me mention that Cranford's Township Committee has been very cooperative, and they're pleased that we have made this purchase as well, particularly Mayor Giblin. So that concludes my comments. We have a need to go into executive session. So County Council, would you please make your statement about executive session?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, public body may enter into executive session for the purposes of discussing certain enumerated subjects. This board now wishes to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing attorney-client privilege communication and discussions of the matter entitled Mervelous versus Union County. The minutes of the executive session shall be separated from the minutes of the open public session. The minutes of the executive session, redacted as appropriate and necessary, shall be made available in approximately 30 days. Clerk to the board shall retain the original minutes until such times confidential limitations have been removed, at which time they'll be made available. Upon the affirmative vote of a majority of the members present, the board may retire into executive session. Upon the board's return, it may or may not take formal action on the matter. I will note that there will not be any formal action on this matter since it's merely slated for discussion.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
May I have a motion to enter into
So
executive?
moved, Madam Chair.
Moved by the Vice Chair, second.
Second.
Hudak or Granados? Freeholder Hudak. Clerk of the board, please call the roll.
Freeholder Garrison? Yes. Freeholder Granados?
Aye.
Freeholder Hudak?
Aye.
Freeholder Palmieri Mudir?
Aye.
Freeholder Staton?
Yes.
Freeholder Williams?
Freeholder
Vice Chair
Williams.
Marabella?
Aye.
Chair Kowalski?
Yes.
Chair, we have 8 affirmative.
Thank you. We're going to executive.
So moved,
A
Madam Chair.
motion to return from executive. Vice Chair moved it, seconded by?
Aye. By us.
I think Freeholder
Second.
Garrison was reversed. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and may I have, our county council, is there anything to announce as a result of the executive session?
Nothing. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. May I have a motion to
So
adjourn?
moved.
Vice
Second.
Chair,
Aye.
second by Freeholder Granados, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned.